Do you remember this video? Because I sure do. It's gotten over 2,000 views, which may not be a lot for most people, but for me, this is incredible. So, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for all the love that video has gotten. I'm honestly amazed. Anywho, I wanted to make another art video as soon as possible and finally had an idea to make some Convergent Pokemon. For those who aren't aware, Game Freak added 2 evolutionary lines in Scarlet and Violet based on the real-world phenomenon of convergent evolution. So I wanted to take this concept and apply it to 4 other Pokemon that I thought would be interesting bases. I'm really excited to share these designs with you, so without further ado, let's get to the art. When I was coming up with ideas for this video, the first one that I had was for a convergent form of Drifloon called Driflagoon. It would be based on bladder kelp, a type of algae that holds itself up with air-filled sacs connected to its stalk. It was pretty much the perfect thing to make look like a balloon. All I had to do was add some flowy leaves, get rid of an arm, and give the entire body a nice green color palette. Actually, about the color palette, I didn't actually end up using the colors that you're going to see in the time-lapse. I used some less saturated greens, then made the shiny very red to reference red algae. Oh yeah, and its name is a combination of drift and lagoon made to sound like Drifloon.
The bladder kelp Pokemon, a water and grass type. Driflagoon's light air-filled body makes it nearly impossible for it to navigate the ocean on its own. It instead relies on ocean currents to move about and uses the leap on its head to change directions. More often than not, Driflagoon will grab onto stronger water-type Pokemon to get where it wants to go. In return, Driflagoon will keep watch and warn its ride about incoming danger.
I think Driflagoon turned out great, but you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. In fact, while you're down there, you should subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you enjoy my content. Seriously, if this video gets as many views as my last art video and everyone who views it subscribes, I'll hit 1,000 subscribers in no time flat. But anywho, enough self-endorsement. Drifloon evolves, so that means that Driflagoon has to as well. Driflagoon evolves into Driftswim, a Pokemon with a name that I am way too proud of. Its name is a combination of drift and swim made to sound like Drifblim. Driftswim is still based on bladder kelp, but also pulls inspiration from an octopus. Usually that would be enough for me, but I felt like it needed a little something extra to make sure it wasn't just a bigger Driflagoon. So I decided to take the cheek-like markings on Driflagoon and turn them into false eyes on Driftswim. That way I could take the cloud on Drifblim's head and turn it into the head of Driftswim.
Driftswim, a bladder cup Pokemon, and the evolved form of Drifloon, a water and grass type. Despite its lightweight, Driftswim can swim quite well. It uses its tentacle-like leaves to maneuver into the water and to capture its favorite prey. Driftswim can easily crush a Kingler's shell and permanently paralyze the Pokemon with special oil it secretes from the gland between its tentacles. The pattern on the front of Driftswim's body resembles a face with a haunting stare. This pattern deters any predators from attacking while Driftswim is asleep.
Okay, so the Pokedex entry is a bit dark, but overall I think this design is very cute. Just look at his cute little face. Oh, wait, nope, not that one. There you go. Scarlet and Violet did a fun thing with Wiglet and Toadstool where they pretty much just swapped the typings of Tentacool and Diglett. So I wanted to do something similar with my Convergent Pokemon. I decided to make Drifloon a water type and Magikarp a flying type. A lot of you are probably wondering how I turned Magikarp into a flying type. Well, let me explain. You know those windsocks that are designed to look like fish? Yeah, those are called koinobori, or carp streamers, and they're the basis of this design. Carp streamers are used to celebrate the Japanese holiday known as Children's Day, and they were kind of a perfect inspiration for Magikite. They're colorful, they're shaped like fish, I mean, what more could you ask for? Oh, and by the way, Magikite is a combination of Magikarp and kite.
Magikite, the carp streamer Pokemon, a flying type. Magikite directs wind currents through its body to soar through the air at high speeds. Its fish-like body often provokes attacks from Pokemon such as Wingull, Pelipper, or Cramorant. Magikite's body is incredibly fragile and will tear at the slightest touch. If a Magikite is torn, it will not be able to fly and will instead flop helplessly on the ground.
So, I just noticed this as I was writing the script, but I just turned a balloon into a living organism and a fish into an inanimate object. I did not plan that, but I think it's really funny. Anyway, I wanted to keep Magikarp's original concept of a fish jumping over a gate to turn into a dragon, except this time in his evolution, he's actually going to turn into a dragon. This design was one of the most difficult and time-consuming things I've ever done. What you're watching right now is my final attempt after 3 hours of trying to sketch up a concept. And if I'm being honest, I'm not even sure I'm happy with the final design. I was more just kind of done with it. But honestly, that might just be my bias talking after spending an accumulative 10 hours on this one Pokemon design. Anywho, this Pokemon is called Gyarados, a combination of Gale and Gyarados. It's still loosely based on carp streamers, but also ties in those large dragon puppets used in the traditional dragon dance. In Japan, this dance is actually called the snake dance, but it still works. Gyarados is a sea serpent after all. I gave Gyarados the same bright colors that I gave to Magikite and replaced Gyarados' spikes with tufts of dark fur that contrast nicely with the rest of the design. I'm still not sure how I feel about the design, but, you know, I was running out of time, and you can only work on a design so much before you just lose it.
Gyarados, the Dragon Dance Pokemon, and the evolved form of Magikite, a flying and dragon type. Gyarados soars through the sky as if dancing. Its graceful movements mesmerize other Pokemon, allowing Gyarados to defeat them easily. Gyarados is actually quite docile, never attacking unless provoked. In battle, it can release gusts of wind powerful enough to fell an entire forest.
I honestly don't know how to feel about Gyarados. I'm on the fence about its design. It's not up to the standards that I hold myself to for my other Pokemon designs, but it's also not a bad design in itself. In general, it's a decent Pokemon design, so I guess I'm proud of it. Yeah, I'm proud of it. Honestly, I'm proud of all the Fakemon designs that I made today, and I'm excited to see what you all think in the comments. Seriously, I love reading all your comments. It makes me really happy to see your thoughts and criticisms, so please, criticize away. It'll only make me a better artist in the end. And don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm aiming to get at least 1,000 subs this year, and I could really use all the help I could get. But anywho, that's all I have for now. I hope you all have a great day, and just remember, Porter was here.